real-time watercolor painting, orange, onion, and cloth. So I did the underpainting. I was trying to upload to my YouTube channel, but I think it's going to take an hour or two to upload for some reason. Anyway, jumping right in. I'm using my usual Daniel Smith paints, and for this particular thing, I'm using this, it's an Urtec, U-Trek, I don't know how you pronounce that brush. Is that the brush I was using? I guess it is. Maybe I was using this one here, Truckle number 14. Anyway, just moving right along. So we did this, indication of the cloth, and I just point out that my angle is like sort of here. It's about 10% different than what you're seeing here, but whatever, just leaving that in there just to so you can see the subject. So I did this underpainting. This has got very light. I think what I'm going to start with is just trying to reinforce the orange, and to do that, we got, can we see the mixing paint now over here? I wonder if I should turn the thing sideways, I don't know, for horizontal. So we're mixing red and yellow to get orange. That's leaning, I don't think that's a very good orange. Put some more yellow there. That looks like a solid orange. So now let's just try to, figure out, let's call this the mid-tone orange. So I guess mid-tone orange, I don't think it's down here. I think maybe it's that. Let's try right there. Okay. And it actually highlights here, but it's not really that good, that orange. So I'm just gonna blot up some of it. We'll leave some of it there. Let's try to do this tone that we see right here. It's like a mid-tone area of the orange. So try to just hit that. I'm trying to keep this in sections because there's these, sections here, and even if it's, a graphic shape, that's going to really help us when we try to add detail and say, hello, we're one of these sections. So, and again, we don't want to have the same tone here and here, because this area is supposed to be closer than that. So whatever, we want a different tone over here. So I just go hit one more up there. Now I want to do a darker version of the same thing and go up here because it's darker up at the edge. So here we go, we're a little bit darker. Again, I'm not going to go all the way around because this area is, farther away than anything here. And if we put the same color right here, it's going to really, the same color is going to look the same distance away from the viewer. So I would say, this area is maybe the same distance as this area. Well, this area is actually closer. But anyway, I'm going to just maybe go out on a limb and see that shadow right here. I'm just going to try to bounce something in there. And now another thing that's happening here is there's a highlight right here where the light is bouncing off the table, and I want to reassert that highlight. So I have this very vague paint here, which is what I just painted but watered down. And so I'm going to take the water out of the brush and just go up here and see about removing some of the paint that's there. That didn't really remove too much, so now we're going with clear water and painting here with clear water, and just sort of rubbing it back and forth. And Megan Young, thank you very much, Megan Young. Appreciate the comment. Thank you for the thumbs up. If I could get a few thumbs up, my record of thumbs up for a real-time watercolor painting is only 5 thumbs up. So I'm looking for 6 today. If I could get 6. Okay, so here now we're trying to hit that remove paint here because this is a highlight, and we gotta paint another color in there later, but we're just doing the stepping stone to the highlight. Another place there's a highlight is like right here, and now since we do have some paint there, I'm just gonna put some clear water there and let it sit for a minute. And as it sits, hopefully it's going to disintegrate the paint that's down there. While we do that, I'm just going to rub this so we don't have these hard lines. And now we just sort of smear that around, and maybe like it was right here. At this stage, we don't especially want these hard lines that are in there. Here, I'm just going to blend that slightly. Now for this area, I'm going to blot it up, and I bet you nothing's going to come up, but maybe a little bit will. Yeah, a little bit came up, so that's good. This is an area of extreme highlight compared to anything else on the orange, and it looks half decent, I guess. I don't like the way this red edge is, I don't like the red edge, so I'm trying to sort of diffuse the area there. I don't mind this edge here, it doesn't really bother me, but the one on the inside there does kind of bother me. And go right here and see about getting a little bit happening here as far as less paint. Likewise there, I don't like that hard edge. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to take this, go heavier on yellow, and why don't we just go right here a little bit, why not? And here. Okay, good. And then maybe right here. And now why don't we soften this area here. This, if you see, you're not, you can't see it because we can't upload it. That's a good orange we got right there. That's actually a good orange color. First one since we started here. And let's see. And it's more red up there than orange. Anyway, let's try to dissolve this a little bit. Good. I'm gonna lean red. I'm gonna put this other, it's a quinacridone red here. I'm just gonna, just for the sake of variety. Let's see about putting that there, and okay, and that looks good. And now this is actually going to be a shadow here. So what we're doing here is just more like a foundation for the shadow. And so for that shadow, I guess I'm gonna take blue. I don't know what's gonna happen with this blue. Let's see what happens if we mix blue with our orange. Does that look like a shadow? I don't want it to turn green. That looks pretty good. That's kind of a good shadow color. Let's see. Oh yeah, why not? Looks good. Wow, alright. It will sort of diffuse out. That might be good. We'll see. Alright, so within this one shadow, there's a highlight right here. So I'm going to try to just get that highlight. So here we go. Okay, got that highlight out. And then of course we got this highlight here where the light's bouncing off the table. We need that in there. This has to be a good strong highlight, and so that's about as good strong as it's gonna get. Now let's try and get this a little bit. Okay, not bad. I'm going just straight water right here. Okay, there we definitely got an exaggerated highlight. And we kind of lost our whole shadow, so let's just try to hit the shadow a little bit more there. And now we want that one line we had. Thank you very much. It looks pretty bad, but you know, it's at least it's a layer that's, you know, hinting that the shadow's going there. And you know, we can add more shadow later. We have a layer here happening. So here I'm just going to reinforce orange on this whole side. So we got that reddish there. Now we're gonna put a layer. Okay, let's see if that's good. There's definitely an orange color. And how about a little thing up here? Just those lines are obviously the shadow lines of the in between the sections. They're obviously pretty dark, but by hinting at them now, we might have an easier time with definition when we do put the dark line, because we don't want a dark line that's just sitting there looking like a typewriter or something. Yeah, put it there. Hi, Kinley Nelson. So good painting and drawing. Well, you know, it just takes practice, Mr. and Mrs. Nelson. The I was in the same boat as you, not so long ago, and you know, just practice every day, and you slowly get better. Oh my God, we don't want that. Had a drip. Okay. And you know, it reminds me right now I really have no idea what I'm doing as well, but you know, we're trying here. So let's see, this is like I'm gonna try to use this orange right there, see what happens. That's a little bit bright for the onion, but you know, it's okay because, you know, we're not doing a color match, that is for darn sure. I'm not even gonna try. So here, this is gonna be a golden, and that's gonna be a good foundation color for gold. Now I'm just gonna smear this to, you know, it's good to have some exaggerated colors because this stuff dries very light, and you know, for that, and okay, anyway, just gonna try to put a whole layer on the onion. There's this little brush hair that is in there, but I guess we're just gonna ignore that for now. All right, so things are moving along. So now let's try to go a little bit golden brown for this thing, onion thing. Here's a kind of a brown. Let's see how that looks. Okay, looks good. I was watching the news before we started the real-time watercolor painting, and wow, that's the whole world's falling apart. You know, it can be very stressful, but let's dive into real-time watercolor painting and hopefully forget our troubles for a while. Okay. Alright, that's looking okay. And now I'm gonna just sort of go like this. See if we get something that looks like a blend to light. And I'm gonna try to get a little out there. I'd say that's looking okay. I mean, this thing here, it doesn't especially belong. Megan Young, hi to you. Thank you very much for visiting. And hey, I got 3 thumbs up. My record is 5. I'm hoping I could get 6 today to make this a memorable event. So if anybody is available to give a thumbs up, I sure would appreciate it. 5 is the record. I think it's 5. I don't know. Maybe there's one that has more than 5. Okay, now that I'm gonna let that dry, and let's go back to this. And now I'm gonna see about just painting right here with water and try to get this lighter, this whole area here. Let's see if that works. Yes, it is getting lighter. This area is not really getting lighter, but it's getting a little bit lighter. And right here, this is like one of the original brush strokes, so it might not get that light, but it's getting a little bit lighter. And right here, I think it'd be good to have a little highlight. Just gonna, there's a highlight, right? Try one right here. Looks good. You know, the highlights, they look dumb right now, obviously, but as we add more layers, they're going to really help us to, you know, like that highlight's going to be this highlight. And, you know, we're going to paint more stuff around, but having it there right now is a plus. Now, so you notice I did not paint this area. That's because this is like a strikingly different bunch of tones in, you know, green and I don't know what, green and gray green, brown green. So having that white right now and pretty much all the way through the painting is going to be a real plus. So here I'm testing this, see if it's dry, because I want to do more definition in the cloth. So cloth, we're doing a Payne's gray leaning towards blue because it's in the back. So this, here's one thing, is this thing right here. All right, and then there's a shadow that comes up right here and there. Okay, and this, we're gonna just make it fade. Make this fade out. And that should really be, there we go, fade out to nothing. And underneath there, this is going to be a tricky part because this is actually kind of in the wrong place. While setting up this still life, I should have paid attention to this area because that's a very complex area, which is right up next to our you know, cloth thing. It would have been better not to be so complex right in that spot. And I guess that's a shadow, and there's a bunch of shadows here. I'm gonna try the single lace source for a second. Turn this off. Will that work? It's it definitely looks better than the you know, overhead light, but it is a big change, especially right here. So I guess we're just going to keep going with the original overhead light. And oh yeah, the reason I wanted to see that was just for the shadow underneath, which now, you know, it's pretty much just one shadow, which is a lot more easy and logical looking to paint with just one shadow. But I think we're just gonna, let's just have a memory of where that shadow is. And okay, now we still see the shadow, so we just focus on that shadow and like forget about this shadow. So, anyway, we put a little shadow here, and then let's try to blend this so it's not such a hard edge. Okay, that might look good, it might not. I think it might not because there's so much water there is gonna this little white speck, I'm happy to leave that in there. Also now I want to clean up this edge because the shadow is coming into the edge here. So, I mean, that might be good, I don't know. Now we're going to try to so this is going to be a shadow leaning towards blue, so, and not that dark, but there, and then under here. And then I'm going to blend it out. And this little white thing you see in there, I'm leaving that in there because, and then here, I don't know what the heck that should be. But having a little white speck in the shadow is not a bad thing. And here's another one, there's another one. I'm very happy to have in there. I guess I just do this and sort of blot it. And here we're just sort of going around to diffuse the shadow. So here I'm going to get a little bit more pigment right there in the gray leaning blue. Here I guess we're going to go up here. Diffuse that into nothing. Same with right there. Okay, and now we want to have a hint of a warm color, which I'm going to use the quinacridone red, but I want to go very subtle. So let's just see how that is. Okay, see, that's a little bit warm, and a warm color is going to come forward. That's the shadow that is coming towards the viewer, and so that's why we have that in there, because now our shadow is blue in the back and warm in the front. And how this should go, I don't know. I guess that's good enough there. And now let's kind of diffuse that. And it's going to take a little bit of this paint out. And I think we could probably go a little here out. And that's not bad. Maybe just get a more of a finish right there. Now I'm going to try to lift this paint up. And that's good. So here we got a little white area from the paper, which is good there because that contrast between our subtle shadow is really saying that this is closer to the viewer than any of that. So that's a big plus. We also have it there, not quite as good as this one, but that's good. Let's see. You are so good at painting and drawing. I can't even draw a stick figure. Oh, okay. Anyway, daily practice. That's why we draw paint daily. Just trying to get a half decent level of proficiency. So what do we want to put up here? I don't know. How about I guess we're gonna do our subtle. Just gonna put this here. This is just like a nothing color, and I just want to get more uh, color up here. It's just to so it's not blank paper there. Just take water and bring that up. We're gonna need to put a shadow right there for the cloth, but I guess that'll wait. And that's not too bad. I think we're gonna go with our warm shadow and go a little bigger right here. I hope that's a good thing. I don't know if it's really that great. There's always a highlight in the shadow. The shadow that was there when we had the single light source, you know, it was giant. That's okay. We don't want to muck around with the shadow forever, but hopefully that's fine. We'll find out later, I guess. Put a little, just a variation here, so it's not all one flat tone. Just a little bit warm right down here. So that's nice, except we don't want a focal point this close to the edge of the page. Unless I'm going to put a jazzy signature there, then I guess that would be a good place for a focal point. Okay, so let's say that's we did the bottom background to a certain extent. I'm going to go back to the cool gray and just make this a little bit darker. Here it goes. I don't know if that's good or not. Probably not. I'm taking a dry brush. I'm just going to try to make this a little bit more a softer transition from, you know, dark to light. I don't know where to. So that looks pretty bad, but I'll soften the top up here. That's horrible. Well, hopefully with all that detail work, we have at least put something there to say hello in the background. Oh, and I think we should also go up right here too. So I guess that would have been good. Have a more of a consistent background. So what is I should have done that to begin with. Leaving this little white there because that'll be good to have as a highlight to give us depth when we start doing this part right there. So anyway, wow, 5 thumbs up. You know, 5 thumbs up my record. If anybody else could give me a thumbs up, I think I'm going to break my record on real-time watercolor painting with 6 thumbs up. Anyway, next is let's try to get a little bit more form and definition in the cloth. So we started that, but then we got bogged down with the background. So there's something, and then here we'll just put something there. Now I want to just diffuse that. And why not go here too? And there's a highlight right there. Let's get that. We got it. And then this is a shadow, goes up here, goes down here. And this is supposed to be a very subtle shadow that goes into nothing. And there's a highlight right here. Let's get that. Oh, if you can see this highlight right there, that's the highlight. And also, this is not really shaped like that. Let's see if we can reshape it. And then up here, I'm just going to take a very neutral tone, which hopefully is leaning blue. That's not leaning blue. I got to add blue to that. Because way back here, we want this to be blue. A blue lean gray because, you know, blue's going to fall behind the warmer grays. So let me see if I can get a better looking line right there. Looks okay. Now I want to refine this. This is the top corner of the cloth. And then there's this other thing right here. Let's see about, this is like a curve. And then down here we got the edge of the cloth. And so we're going to call that the edge. And now let's get a little bit of the so this is a pretty you know, simplified thing of the detail of the cloth, having these lines like that. But in my experience, you know, at a glance, it looks pretty good that way. And it's a nice, when that gets faded out because it dries light, we're going to be very happy. I'm going to do the same thing right now, right here. And let's see about gonna leave that for a minute, and then blot it is gonna, you know, hopefully have a kind of a tone. I'm gonna take this thing, it's called a fine liner, to try to get this line right here, which is going to be a high pressure thing, because I don't want to muck it up. So here goes. Let's see, probably should start right here. Okay, the reason I did a dotted line is because if we mix a different type of gray in there, we will end up with more depth, because you know, a single line, like any single line, is going to be like I don't know, let's see what's happening here. Okay, that looks pretty good. And I think it's gonna like pretty much dry so light we don't really have to blot it up. Now I want to see where the line is a little bit going off. I'm going to try to erase that. Okay, so that's erased. And then let's just try to go in here and make a better transition. And then maybe we can soften this line a bit. I'm going to leave that highlight right there. Looking good, I think. And then this really should be a little bit more of a blue lean right there. I'm trying to add sort of a blue. At a glance, the blue is gonna like say, "Hi, I'm farther away than this." It's because you know this farther away than that. This is warm. Make that cool, even a bit exaggerated. It's going to be you know, help us with depth. Here I'm going to just try to hopefully this will look good too. We shall see. Softening that edge, soften this edge. So clean that up. Our highlight is not really in there so profoundly, so I'm going to try to lift more paint off this area. Didn't really work that good. Little specks of stuff sitting there. I don't know what that's from. We could do try to clean up this line. Probably won't clean up too well since it's already been there a long time, but I guess it's getting softer. With a lot more work, the towel might look good, I think, but we have laid down some important stuff. Thank you very much for everybody who stopped by. I'm going to knock it off and go get more coffee. Fun time. And there is the what I would identify as a problem area, because we should have thought a little bit harder about this positioning. I guess it's okay. We did not exactly capture it right there, but we got a good underpainting, and we'll stop back next time. And I super appreciate 5 thumbs up on this video. Bye.